She said it like a confession she'd been rehearsing for weeks, maybe months. I regret every single day I wasted with you. I opened our marriage. We were sitting at opposite ends of the couch, the space between us wide and cold. She didn't ask how I felt. She didn't wait for permission. She spoke as if she were announcing a personal upgrade, something I should eventually understand and accept. For a moment, I wondered if I had misheard her, if my mind was protecting me by rearranging the words into something less cruel. I hadn't agreed to an open marriage. We had never discussed it seriously, never set rules or boundaries. To her, it was already done. She explained it quickly, efficiently, like she was checking items off a list. She said monogamy felt like a prison. She said she had found herself again. She said regret sharpened her honesty. Each sentence landed like a small, precise cut. When I asked when this decision had been made, she smiled sadly and said, "A long time ago. I didn't argue that night." I listened while she reframed our entire relationship as a mistake she had survived. I felt something inside me harden, not into anger, but into focus. When she finally went to bed, I stayed up, staring at the dark window, watching my reflection look back at me like a stranger. I realized she thought I would fold, that my love for her would make me small and compliant. She had mistaken kindness for weakness. The days that followed were surreal. She was lighter, energized, texting constantly, laughing to herself. She talked openly about connections she was exploring, about how liberating honesty could be. When I told her this wasn't honesty, that it was betrayal dressed up in new language, she rolled her eyes. She said I was old-fashioned, insecure, holding her back. She said if I loved her, I would want her to be happy, even if that happiness didn't include me the way it used to. That was when I stopped trying to convince her of anything. Instead, I started paying attention. I noticed how careless she was with details, how sure she was that I would never push back. I noticed how our joint finances were handled, how much trust she had assumed would remain untouched no matter what she did. While she was opening the marriage, I was opening my eyes. I spoke to a lawyer quietly. I didn't tell friends or family. I gathered documents, copies of messages she had openly left visible, proof of infidelity that she believed was irrelevant because of the word open. I learned that consent matters, that unilateral decisions don't magically rewrite commitments. Each piece of information steadied me. Revenge, I discovered, doesn't have to be loud to be effective. One evening, she came home excited, talking about a weekend trip she had planned with someone new. She assumed I would move around it, adjust my life to accommodate her freedom. I smiled and told her to enjoy herself. The surprise flickered briefly across her face, then disappeared into satisfaction. She left 2 days later, suitcase in hand, confident and careless. While she was gone, I acted. I separated accounts, secured my assets, and filed paperwork she never thought I'd have the courage to touch. I left our house exactly as it was, calm and orderly. On the kitchen table, I placed a single envelope with copies of the documents and a short note telling her where she could find the rest. There was no accusation in my handwriting, just facts. When she returned, her calls came fast and furious. Anger, disbelief, panic. She accused me of betrayal, of going behind her back. The irony almost made me laugh. I didn't answer right away. When I finally did, my voice was steady. I told her she had opened the marriage without my consent, but I had closed the door to being disrespected. I told her regret doesn't give someone the right to rewrite another person's dignity. The fallout was messy, but brief. Her new relationships vanished as soon as responsibility appeared. Friends who had applauded her bravery grew quiet when the full story surfaced. She tried to negotiate, to soften her words, to take back the cruelty she had thrown so easily. But some sentences can't be retrieved once they're spoken. I regret every single day I wasted with you, echoed in my mind, a reminder of exactly why I couldn't go back. The divorce finalized faster than either of us expected. I walked away with my self-respect intact, something she never thought I valued enough to protect. The revenge wasn't watching her struggle or explaining herself to others. It was refusing to be her safety net after she burned the bridge. It was choosing peace over proving a point. Sometimes, late at night, I think about the man I was before that conversation. The one who believed love could absorb anything. I don't hate him. He loved deeply, and that matters. But I'm grateful I didn't let that love turn into permission. She said she opened our marriage. What she really did was open the door for me to leave. I don't regret the years we spent together. They taught me what commitment should look like and what it shouldn't. She tried to turn her regret into my responsibility. Instead, it became my release. And that, quietly, was the most satisfying revenge of all.